Hey, this is the Fatboy Show on RX Radio. Hoping that you're doing great today. We certainly are. Oliver and I have been enjoying ourselves, playing the nice music and trying to analyze some of the interesting stories that a lot of people are talking about. And right now, one of the biggest stories is the issue of those demonic number plates, the demonic digital number plates that everyone just hates. Why demonic? Because, well, first of all, 700,000 shillings. How can you charge 700,000 shillings for mere number plates? And apparently everyone is supposed to get them, even if the car you are driving already is fully registered, fully insured, and you have your number plate you've been driving with for years. You're going to have to switch that plate for the digital one. So it's going to be compulsory, and they're saying it could cost 700,000 shillings. Now, because this is Uganda, questions were raised about the company that would be manufacturing these number plates. And this is where things have become a bit tricky. As it turns out, the company that has been awarded the contract to produce these number plates, they've never done it before. Mm-hmm. Wait. And also it turns out they are primarily arms dealers. Mm-hmm. And then it turns out they aren't even going to make these plates in Russia, but in another country called Poland. Mm-hmm. It's all very tricky, and somehow in the mix, Muhwezi is also there. Yeah, I'm seeing him being involved in it somehow.
This brings back memories of things like...
Oh, gosh. I mean, while he was Minister of Health, he got into a lot of trouble. Mm-hmm. In fact, didn't he get censured?
Yes, he was.
Because of his dealings in the Ministry of Health?
Yes, he was censured.
So... Woo! So once again, this is Uganda, so it's what you can expect. Now, my question to you is this, Olive. What is the president saying about this? Because this is Uganda, we know nothing moves without him saying so.
Yeah, especially lately where he has said most of these deals cannot go on without his input, because in the past, apparently, such things have happened under his nose and have cost the country a huge sum of money in terms of like maybe taking loans, and now we are paying back and the loans are not even necessary, and yet we have a big debt. But so far, there hasn't been anything said by the president. All we've had is, for instance, the Minister of Internal Affairs, Kahinda Otafiire, saying he wrote to the president a letter saying that because apparently Wavamuno has been manufacturing the number plates.
The current ones.
The current number plates. So Wavamuno went to the Minister of Internal Affairs and said, why was I cut out of the deal? Why are you giving the deal to a foreign company? Moreover, they are saying they are going to be manufacturing the number plates from another country, yet for us we do it locally. Can't we work together? So Kahinda Otafiire claims to have written to the president about this whole deal and saying that the current manufacturer, who is a Ugandan, is complaining. But he says State House received a letter and they never gave it to the president. Ooh. So the president's communications team came out on Thursday and said, no, that is a lie. We never received the letter. Then Kahinda Otafiire says he didn't even know about this company. He was not in the deal. Remember, he's the Minister for Internal Affairs, so he's supposed to know anything that the police is doing, because the police is under him. Correct. And the police is the one that is trying to drive this project. But he had no idea. Then later on, Muhwezi comes out and says that because they questioned why is it that the company was supposed to get a profit of 85% and the government only 15%.
Oh my gosh.
And so they asked Muhwezi, how did you come to these numbers? And he's like, the investor was going to put in his money, so he needed to get his money's worth. As in, hello, what?
So the very fact that he's somehow involved in it, and I don't know, is he fronting them or what? What's his role in this?
He's actually one of the people behind the deal.
Okay, so already, I mean,
this is already looking like rotten tomatoes. So
red flag right there. And I feel like as a country we're being taken for a ride. Look, I can appreciate the need for some sort of digitized way of tracking vehicles. I mean, although it's a bit creepy, there's issue of civil liberties and privacy, and how it's going to be used and abused to harass political opponents and to track their movements, or highly placed people might abuse it to track their wives and husbands. But I can at least appreciate the logic behind it. But the way in which they're moving forward with the deal, it just reeks of corruption. And I
Yes.
think we're not being well served by this.
We are not being well served by this. Let's look at the pricing. You cannot say that we are going away from 130,000 shillings to 700 plus shillings just to get a number plate, as if buying a car and all these other things involved is not expensive enough. Also, because the president has been vocal about buying Uganda, build Uganda, why are we taking the deal from a local manufacturer, giving it to a foreigner? And of course, it also raises questions. This Russian company says that they are going to manufacture the number plates from Poland. As we know right now, Poland and Russia don't see eye to eye. So how is a Russian company going to run business from a because unlike maybe Africa, when these guys are not seeing eye to eye, they are not seeing eye to eye. So it means even business is strained. Remember what happened after the Ukrainian war came out? People that supported Russia had their businesses blocked in countries like the UK. Remember the owner was of Chelsea, losing everything just because he supported Russia.
So another thing I don't like, Olive, is our reliance on middlemen for many of these big contracts. And for me, once I see a middleman, I know that that middleman is probably friends with a minister somewhere, and there's something
and the
shady
minister
going
has
on.
a cut.
Because earlier we were talking about that controversy surrounding the issue of who would be the one to procure the coffee and market it, the Ugandan coffee, and market it internationally. For a while, there was a discussion about how one company would be responsible for that. I forget the name of the company in question, but
It is Uganda Coffee Vinci something.
And as it turns out, the person that's running
Uganda
that,
Vinci Company Limited.
so the person running that, some lady, Italian lady, was she?
Yes.
Had no prior
Pinetti.
experience with this whole industry, and her background is in arms sales or some shady stuff like this, and immediately everyone was just they were shocked. They're like, hey, what's going on? The whole thing just did not look right.
So this is what the president said, and I will quote him. He said, when I first met her, she had no idea about coffee. It is not her. However, I could see that she had a wide network of contacts, and I asked her to look into coffee, Museveni said. He added, after some time, she came back with a positive report that it was doable. I'm the one who told her. For her, she was in hospitals. Remember, she was also in the saga of the stalled Lubowa hospital that we have never seen
So I think
to this day.
So I get the feeling that the president surrounds himself with such
Crooks.
agents and these independent middlemen and middlewomen who he uses to get out there and to get the connections, get the deals. Essentially,
And they bring him
run his
crooks.
errands for him, bring him opportunities, or at least might be in position to put things together. Let's just say.
So I think for me, how I understand what you're saying is this: the president has these people around him. Let's say Jim Muhwezi, and he trusts these people to do that job right. Okay, get me contacts. Can we do this? Okay, who can we get? Get me a number. And these people, because of their greed, they find people that are not even qualified to do what the president wants to do.
But who
they
agree
know-
to their terms.
Who will agree to their terms? Because you cannot tell
I'm going
me
to give you the deal,
that-
but
you cannot tell me that you're bringing a foreign investor into the country to do something where he is getting 85% of the profit and the government is getting 15%.
And how much
is
of
that
that
investment?
And how much of that 80%, 85% do you think is going to go to the person who made the deal happen?
Thank you very much. You may find that the investor has 50%. 35% is for the person who brought the deal, or the persons that brought the deal. Because remember what happened when COVID-19 had just come. Rebecca Kadaga, the then Speaker of Parliament, brought a guy to the president who was purportedly going to manufacture a drug to cure COVID-19.
I remember.
Was it a vaccine or something?
I remember.
And then remember Howard. What is his other name?
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard. Then Econ. All these people go to the president and sell him magic. And because the people around the president do a good job of convincing him that this is good for us, the president falls for it.
So in other words, so the people around him who are able to get audience for these investors to meet the president, and of course they do that in exchange for, I guess, either monetary benefit or some cut of the deal.
Money.
And what ends up happening is that the country ends up working with very unscrupulous people, and the country loses as a result. So I don't know if this deal of the number plates is going to go through. I saw that the speaker has requested for any further investigation into the matter to be halted.
And when the speaker says this, that case dies a natural death. So we don't know if we will end up with digital number plates, or if this has raised so much dust that we won't hear of it again. But what we know for sure is that when she said halt investigations into Uganda Airlines and Jennifer Bamturachi, we never had anything again. Finance Support Center, nothing. And now here we are. So
wow, Uganda, we are in trouble. What are we gonna do? Maybe let's just scratch our heads and play some nice music, of which there's plenty more coming up right here on the Fatboy Show.